Dr. Arthie Moore. I'm Compassionate Leader of Influence. I am the owner and co-founder of Celebrating Humanity International, a diversity and inclusion company, as well as Key Leadership Institute with my partner, Moore-Robberts. Now, he was able to talk into his season finale earlier today. And man, listening to him, he's absolutely incredible. And it's such a privilege to be on IBGR.network as on-air talent. And I want to say thank you to Donna and to Bill for being the visionaries who created this incredible platform. Now, the purpose of today's show is that I want to walk you through the last few episodes of our last season and how it affects your business. And now we're in the people lane, the staff it, people lane. And it's all about how to attract, select, develop, and compensate the best people for your business. So if you go to our website, www.ibgr.network, you will be able to download our show notes there. So I welcome you to connect with us on all of these different platforms. We're on all the social media platforms on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. There are so many ways for you to connect with us. And don't forget, download our app, like and share, and then encourage other people, other entrepreneurs who are budding entrepreneurs to get onto this platform. And it's going to be exciting. So I was talking into my different shows that I had, and all I'm going to do is give you an idea of some of the topics that I spoke into and why it is important as a business owner to be cognizant of all of these aspects. So when I look at my first topic, which was intentional focus, powerfully impacts your workday. I spoke into a lot of areas, and I'll just read out a few things that was important. And what I love about this is that as business owners, we've got to constantly ensure that our workers are productive and efficient, especially in today's ever-changing world. So where do you place your focus on leading your people will actually determine the positive outcomes on their performance. So that is something that we've always got to be aware of. What can we do differently? One of the things that takes away from the productivity of many organizations and individuals is that a lot of time and resources are lost or wasted. And so when you think about it, where are some of these things where people procrastinate? They don't want to get into the work that they need to do. They waste their time on personal emails, unnecessary phone calls, a lot of breaks, and they are not being productive in the way you want them to do. So how do you intentionally help and guide them? So I think intentional focus, I was talking into as a productive person, the goal is to increase your value by learning whenever you can, using resources wisely, and developing new ideas and staying on task. Productivity is the way towards growth, progress, and a positive future. So in that episode, I spoke hugely into those areas. And then the next episode, I spoke into self-development, the secret to fulfilling the job demands. Now, in that episode, I was talking about the key to skill mastery is the understanding that most people draw meaning from their work. So when they're challenged, they raise their level of play in an environment that supports growth and development, and then you watch how your people flourish. Now, I know that is a mouthful, and I know sometimes I get excited, but bear with me here. There's so much juicy information that I want to share with you that I thought, man, I can't leave all of this out. So I'm going to give you some of the critical areas that is really, really important for skill mastery. I think it is putting the right person in the job to start with. That is massively important. Invest in developing skills. Start with the present job, then cross train for all the jobs in the process. I mean, those are some really, really important areas. And then use technology to eliminate all the tasks that can be automated to multiply what can be accomplished in a workday. Now, I know that I spoke into so many different areas when it came to self-development, because when you think about it, self-development has got the aspects from personal mastery, challenging belief systems, self-esteem, confidence, unconscious biases, diversity issues, personality types, learning styles, and so much more. Didn't I tell you there is so much information here on our episodes? And I'm only giving you a small smidgen, small snippet of what you could actually have access to. And I think that at the end of the day, it is actually really powerful and intriguing to go back and listen to some of these episodes, because there's so much that even I learn from it. Because as I develop and research and create the most incredible show for you, I learn a lot and I draw from the experiences. And sometimes it allows me to actually take a step back and realize how much I've actually accomplished. So, I mean, that's massive for me as well. And then when you look into some of the 5 areas of personal development, I thought, when you think about it, I thought that when you look at cerebral, your brain, emotional, physical, social, and spiritual, it all has to do with the ability to develop your communication and your language development, your physical development, your personal, social, and emotional development, your literacy development, and understanding the world. I think, having a global overview is massive. It is something that is really important to be aware of. And, I love that, because at the end of the day, if we're not developing, we cannot impact our people meaningfully. So, in the next episode, I spoke about celebrating accomplishments stimulates creativity. Now, the objectives of that show was to talk about, why is a sense of accomplishment important? What types of things can give us a sense of accomplishment? What are some ways to feel more accomplished every day, and how do we celebrate these achievements? Now, this is one of the fun things, because with me, I began I went into business when I was 19 years old, and one thing that I found is that business needs to be fun. I needed to have a sense of celebration for everything that I did, everything that I achieved. And I realized at the end of the day, if we don't acknowledge the people around us and give them credit where it's due, and celebrate the achievement, and it doesn't have to be huge, it doesn't have to be massive bonuses. It can be in so many different ways that you make people feel good about themselves. And I always I made sure that it was an imperative for me with the people that I interacted with. And whether it was a dinner, or it was drinks after work, or it was time out playing pool randomly after we finished half a day of work and we'd accomplished something huge, I would just say to people, let's pack up. Let's shut down office and go. Let's go to the beach. Let's go and chill with our friends and family. Let's take everybody out for a few drinks, and let's talk about what we did, what was important. And I think that self-reflection makes people feel good about themselves. It's about building the self-confidence of people that makes it important for us to discuss why celebrating accomplishments stimulates creativity. And I think that there are some areas here that was really, really important to talk about. Here are some great ways to celebrate your successes, both big and small. And one of the things I wrote down was, share the news with friends, family, and colleagues. Now, I did that a lot. I would invite everybody and say, let's go and play a game of pool, and let's tell everybody. Let's put this on Facebook. Let's talk about our accomplishments. Let's put in our WhatsApp groups. And people love that. Okay, number two was, reflect on the path you took. I think because that allowed us to actually write down things that we did right, what we did to use our resources more effectively, and how we could interact differently with people, that we could now remember that formula and continue to improve on it. And I thought that was a great way to do things differently. Another one was, write down your success and put it where you can see it every day. So, if we write down goals and we look at it, we focus on it, why not write down what we accomplished? I think it is a brilliant way to feel like we're succeeding. Now, I think a lot of people always write down stuff and say, well, this is what I want to achieve. Why not write down what you've already achieved and be proud of yourself? Because when you start your day feeling proud, and there's a sense of accomplishment, that you've done something huge. I think, this is a brilliant way to interact with people differently. So the another one another one was, thank everyone who supported you. And I think, Gratitude is something you must never ever let go of. It is a powerful state of being and it's an imperative. So, how do you build upon daily accomplishments and create a culture of accomplishment? And what I spoke into the episode was celebrate the human experience because I think that is very important. It's about treating others better than they treat you. So celebrating your wins doesn't mean it only makes you feel good physically, but it reinforces behavior that you want to show up when you face a new challenge or opportunity. So that was a bit on that episode. And then in the next episode, I spoke into decisiveness enables you to do the job right first time. So in that show, I spoke about how business owners can upskill their people to do the job right the first time. Now, I spoke about self esteem of one of the people I interacted with always needing to be out front, center of attention, micromanaging, belittling people, and embarrassing staff, sabotage, sabotaging them, um, having a don't care attitude, always complaining, always insecure. So I think that if in order to change the mindset there, we need to realize that there are a few areas we need to work in there. We need to work on trust, accountability, respect, give people the training they deserve, challenge their mindset. Because when you look at mindset, the best leaders have a strong sense of self worth. So letting go of control is a powerful one because raising leaders and empowering them develops a pattern of achievement, excellence, and leadership that will be rewarded and recognized. And with that, I'm going to take a quick 2 to 3 minute break. But when I come back, we're going to talk into some of the other juicy episodes that we spoke into, and I will catch up with you in a few minutes.